Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dragons and Spaceships, the podcast where we explore the stories that stay with us, whether they unfold across distant worlds or right here in the beautifully complicated reality of ordinary life. After spending some time in darker or more fantastical territory lately, today we are stepping into something softer, but not necessarily easier. Because this week we are talking about Happy Place by Emily Henry. And if you've ever loved a second chance romance or a found family story or a book that makes you laugh and then quietly dismantles you emotionally, this one is absolutely for you. But before we dive in, let's talk about a book that has been getting a lot of attention lately. This week's trending pick is Book Boyfriend. This book follows Juniper Young, a book-loving influencer whose carefully curated literary life collides with reality when she teams up with a charismatic actor cast as her favorite fictional hero. What starts as a publicity arrangement turns into something much messier and much more real as they navigate fake dating, online scrutiny, and emotional baggage neither of them planned on sharing. If you love witty romance, meta book culture references, and the classic "this was supposed to be pretend" energy, this one might be worth adding to your TBR. Let's get back to our book. What this book is about. At its core, Happy Place follows Harriet and Wynne. They were the perfect couple. The kind of couple everyone else looked at and thought, that's it. That's endgame. There's just one problem. They broke up. Months ago. And no one knows. So when they reunite with their closest friends for one last summer trip to their beloved Maine beach house, they decide to pretend. Just for the week. They're still together, still engaged, and still completely in love. This trip isn't just another vacation. It's the final time this group will gather in the house that has defined their friendship for years. The place where they grew into adulthood, the place where everything felt safe, predictable, and happy. The cottage isn't just a setting. It's memory, it's nostalgia, it's proof that once life made sense, which makes the secret Harriet and Wynne are carrying feel like a quiet earthquake under every shared meal and late-night conversation. Because they're not pretending for strangers, they're pretending for people who know them best. What makes this story work? At first glance, this looks like a classic romantic setup, but the deeper you go, the more it becomes a story about identity. This is about growing up when you don't feel ready, growing apart from the people you still love, and realizing that success doesn't always equal happiness. Harriet is a surgical resident who has achieved everything she thought she wanted and feels completely lost. Wynne has returned home to Montana after personal tragedy, trying to rebuild a life that feels meaningful. Their tension isn't just unresolved love, it's the fear that loving each other might have meant sacrificing themselves. What makes Happy Place hit so hard is how realistic the conflict feels. There's no villain, no betrayal, just two people who stopped saying the things that they needed to say. Harriet believes Wynne left because she wasn't enough. Wynne believes he left because he was holding her back. And neither of them ever explained their reasons fully. So the story becomes a slow unraveling of truth through flashbacks, awkward closeness, and moments where you can feel years of love just beneath the surface. The romance isn't just the only relationship at stake here, though. We have Sabrina, Cleo, Parth, and Kimmy, who form the emotional backbone of the story, because this book is also about friendship, specifically what happens when friendships evolve. When careers, partners, geography, and time start pulling people in different directions. There's love here, deep love, but also tension, resentment, nostalgia, and fear. Because growing up doesn't just change who you are, it changes how you fit together. Happy Place begins as a cozy beach read and slowly transforms into something much more introspective. It explores the pressure to succeed, the fear of disappointing others, the grief of letting go of your past self, and the uncomfortable truth that happiness isn't always where you thought it would be. It asks questions many people quietly carry. What if the life you built isn't the one you actually want? What if love isn't enough without honesty? What if your happy place isn't a place at all, but a time you can't return to? But now it's time for the Dragon's Roar, the segment where we talk about exciting news, announcements, and releases in the book world. Romance readers, especially small town and cowboy romance fans, this one is big. Best-selling author Corinne Michaels has officially announced an entire new series called Hearthstone Ranch, and she revealed all 4 planned titles. Book 1, West of Forever, is set to release on June 16th, 2026. And the story already sounds packed with tension, secrets, and forbidden love, centered around rival families whose feud runs deep at Hearthstone Ranch. Book 2, Never Been Tamed, is expected October 2026. Book 3, Always the Rebel, is currently slated for 2027, and Book 4, Once an Outlaw, is also planned for 2027, although exact dates haven't been confirmed yet. So this isn't just a single release, it's a full multi-year romance rollout. If you love interconnected stories, ranch settings, enemies to lover tension, or emotionally intense contemporary romance, the series seems like it's definitely one you want to watch for. And honestly, announcements like this are always exciting because you know you're not just getting one book, you're getting a whole new fictional world to live in for years. Let me know, are you planning to pick up West of Forever when it releases? Because this might become one of those series everyone is talking about. And that's it for this week's Dragon Roar. So if some stories are about saving kingdoms, Happy Place is about saving yourself. It's quiet, bittersweet, emotionally honest, and ultimately hopeful, because it suggests that happiness isn't just something you find by recreating the past. It's something you build by being honest about who you are now. Thank you so much for spending this time with me on Dragons and Spaceships. If you have read Happy Place, I'd love to know, did Harriet and Wynn's story resonate with you? Did it feel comforting or painfully relatable? And next week, we may be heading back into dragons, starships, or something a little darker, so stay tuned. Until then, happy reading, stay curious, and may your TBR pile never stop growing.